Hello, home state from sunny Berwyn, Illinois. I'm Justine Hacka, Program Manager from the Poetry Foundation and the head POL person there. First off, on behalf of Poetry Out Loud and the Illinois Arts Council, I'd like to thank some people who make this possible in our state. At 40 North, 88 West, Kelly White, Carbondale Community Arts, Hillary Chandler, Quad City Arts, Tracy White, Rockford Area Arts Council, Kate Kilgore, the Springfield Area Arts Council, Southwestern Illinois College, Amy Brockman, and the Poetry Center of Chicago, Timothy David Ray. Thank you all for all that you do. And of course, last but not least, I must thank Sheila Walk, Acting Executive Director of the Springfield Area Arts Council, for managing the Central Illinois region and the whole statewide POL contest, mentoring the regional POL coordinators, and for 15 years of service working with POL and the students and teachers who have participated here in Illinois. Thank you for everything that you have done, Sheila. Saying this past year has been trying is a massive understatement, and I wanted to say a very, very heartfelt thank you to the teachers, administrators, families, and of course the students for starting or continuing with the program this year. We know that your plates are beyond full right now, and our program has been kept alive by your incredible work and commitment. Arts build communities, and while those communities look very different at the moment, I believe that they are just as vibrant, if not more so. Arts, and especially poetry, are so important in giving us a creative outlet for our thoughts and emotions, and in providing the much needed connections to others and to the world around us. I hope that you have found some comfort or inspiration or motivation or whatever it is that you've needed in learning your poems. Keep being the amazing, fabulous people that you are. Thank you so much again, and good luck.
I struck the board and cried, "No more! I will abroad!" What? Shall I ever sigh and pine? My lines in life are free, free as the road, loose as the wind, as large as store. Shall I be still in suit? Have I no harvest but a thorn to let me blood and not restore what I've lost with cordial fruit? Sure, there was wine before my sighs did dry it. There was corn before my tears did drown it. Is the year only lost to me? Have I no base to crown it? No flowers, no garlands gay, all blasted, all wasted? Not so, my heart, but there is fruit, and thou hast hands. Recover all thy sigh-blown age on double pleasures. Leave thy cold dispute of what is fit and not. Forsake thy cage, thy rope of sand which petty thoughts have made and made to thee. Good cable to enforce and draw and be thy law, while thou didst wink and wouldst not see. Away, take heed, I will abroad. Call in thy death's head there, tie up thy fears. He that forbears to suit and serve his need deserves his load. But as I raved and grew more fierce and wild at every word, methought I heard one calling, "Child." And I replied, "My lord." I will tell you why she rarely ventured from her house. It happened like this. One day, she took the train to Boston, made her way to the darkened room, put her name down in cursive script, and waited her turn. When they read her name aloud, she made her way to the stage, straightened the papers in her hands, pages and envelopes, the backs of grocery bills. She closed her eyes for a minute, took a breath, and began. From her mouth, perfect words exploded, intact formulas of light and darkness. She dared to rhyme with words like cochineal and describe the skies like diadem. Obscurely worded incantations filled the room with an alchemy that made the very molecules quake. The solitary words she handled in her upstairs room with keen precision came rumbling out to make the electric lights flicker. 40 members of the audience were treated for hypertension. 20-year-old dark-haired beauties found their heads had turned a Moses white. Her second poem erased the memory of every cell phone in the nightclub. And by the 4th line of the 6th verse, the grandmother in the upstairs apartment had been cured of her rheumatism. The papers reported the power outages. The area hospitals taxed their emergency generators. And sirens were heard to wail through the night. Quietly, she made her way to the exit, walked to the terminal, and rode back to Amherst. She never left her room again, and never read such syllables aloud. Dead friends coming back to life, dead family, speaking languages living and dead, their minds retentive, their 5 senses intact, their footprints like a butterfly's, mercy shining from their comprehensive faces. This is one of my favorite things. I like it so much I sleep all the time. Moon by day and sun by night find me dispersed deep in the dreams where they appear. In fields of goldenrod, in the city of 5 pyramids, before the empress with a melting face, under the towering plane tree, they just show up. It's all right, they seem to say. It always was. They are diffident and polite. Who knew the dead were so polite? They don't want to scare me. Their heads don't spin like weather vanes. They don't want to steal my body and possess the earth and wreak vengeance. They're dead. You understand, they don't exist. And besides, why would they care? They're subatomic, horizontal. Think about it. One of them shyly offers me a pencil. The eyes under the eyelids dart faster and faster through the intercom of the house where for so long there was no music. The Right Reverend Al Green is singing. I could never see tomorrow. I was never told about the sorrow.
In Chicago, it is snowing softly, and a man has just done his wash for the week. He steps into the twilight of early evening, carrying a wrinkled shopping bag full of neatly folded clothes, and, for a moment, enjoys the feel of warm laundry and crinkled paper, flannel-like, against his gloveless hands. There's a Rembrandt glow on his face, a triangle of orange in the hollow of his cheek as a last flash of sunset blazes the storefronts and lit windows of the street. He is Asian, Thai, or Vietnamese, and very skinny, dressed as one of the poor in rumpled suit pants and a plaid mackinaw, dingy and too large. He negotiates the slick of ice on the sidewalk by his car, opens the Fairlane's back door, leans to place the laundry in, and turns, for an instant, toward the flurry of footsteps and cries of pedestrians as a boy. That's all he was. Backs from the corner package store, shooting a pistol, firing it, once, at the dumbfounded man who falls forward, grabbing at his chest. A few sounds escape from his mouth. A babbling no one understands as people surround him, bewildered at his speech. The noises he makes are nothing to them. The boy has gone, lost in the light array of foot traffic, dappling the snow with fresh prints. Tonight, I read about Descartes' grand courage to doubt everything except his own miraculous existence. And I feel so distinct from the wounded man lying on the concrete. I am ashamed. Let the night sky cover him as he dies. Let the weaver girl cross the bridge of heaven and take up his cold hands. Thin are the night skirts left behind by daybreak hours that onward creep. And thin, alas, the shred of sleep that wavers with the spirit's wind, but in half dreams that shift and roll and still remember and forget. My soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Our lives, most dear, are never near. Our thoughts are never far apart, though all that draws us heart to heart seems fainter now, and now more clear. Tonight, love claims his full control, and with desire and with regret, my soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Is there a home where heavy earth melts to bright air that breathes no pain, where water leaves no thirst again, and springing fire is love's new birth? If faith, long bound to one true goal, may there at length its hope beget, my soul, that hour, shall draw your soul forever nearer yet.
The Devil's Tour of Hell did not include a factory line where molten lead spilled into mouths held wide. No electric drill, spiraling screws into hands and feet, nor giant pliers to lower you into simmering vats. Instead, a circle of light opened on your stuffed armchair, whose chintz orchids did not boil and change, and the devil adjusted your new spiked antenna almost delicately, with claws curled and lacquered black, before he spread his leather wings to leap into the acid green sky. So your head became a TV hole, a gargoyle mirror, your doppelganger, sloppy at the mouth and swollen at the joints, enacted your days in sinuous, slow motion. Your lines delivered with a mocking sneer. Sometimes the frame froze, reversed, began again, The red eyes of a friend you cursed, your girl child, cowered behind the drapes, parents alive again, and puzzled by this new form. That's why you clawed your way back to this life.
Side by side through the streets at midnight, roaming together through the tumultuous night of London in the miraculous April weather, roaming together under the gaslight, day's work over, how the spring calls to us, here in the city, calls to the heart from the heart of a lover. Cool the wind blows, fresh in our faces, cleansing, entrancing, after the heat and the fumes and the footlights, where you dance and I watch your dancing. Good it is to be here together, good to be roaming, even in London, even at midnight, lover-like in a lover's gloaming, you, the dancer, and I, the dreamer, children together, wandering lost in the night of London, in the miraculous April weather.
We used to say, that's my heart right there. As if to say, don't mess with her right there. As if don't even play, that's a part of me right there. In other words, okay, that's the start of me right there. As if come that day, that's the end of me right there. As if push come to shove, I would fend for her right there. As if come what may, I would lie for her right there. As if come love to pay, I would die for that right there.
Someday, compassion would demand I set myself free of my desire to recreate my father, indulge in my mother's losses, strangle lovers with words, forcing them to confess for me and take the blame. Today was that day. I tossed them sheet by sheet on the patio and gathered them into a pyre. I wanted to let them go in a blaze. Tiny white dwarfs imploding beside the azaleas and ficus bushes, let them crackle, burst like winged seeds, let them smolder into gossamer embers. 1,000 gray butterflies in the wind. Today was that day. But it rained, kept raining. Instead of fire, water drops, knocking on doors, letting windows into mirrors, reflecting me in the oaks. The garden walls and stones swelling into ghostlier shades of themselves. The wind chimes giggling in the storm. The coffee cup left overflowing with rain. Instead of burning, my pages turned into water lilies, floating over puddles. Then tiny white cliffs as the sun set, finally drying all night under the moon into papier-mâché souvenirs. Today, the rain would not let their lives burn.
For those of us, young, healthy, we will face the mourning of our elders. bury them beneath the earth. And for those of us who believe the living ever live, we will stand by the graves of our teachers and know that we, like those we've buried, are living ancients.
No, I wasn't meant to love and be loved. If I'd lived longer, I would have waited longer. Knowing you are faithless keeps me alive and hungry. Knowing you faithful would kill me with joy. Delicate are you, and your vows are delicate too, so easily do they break. You are a laconic marksman. You leave me not dead, but perpetually dying. I want my friends to heal me, succor me. Instead, I get analysis. Conflagrations that would make stones drip blood are campfires compared to my anguish. Two-headed, inescapable anguish. Love's anguish, or the anguish of time, another dark, severing, incommunicable night. Death would be fine if I only died once. I would have liked a solitary death, not this lavish funeral, this grave anyone can visit. You are mystical, Ghalib, and also you speak beautifully. Are you a saint or just drunk, as usual?
Let me make the songs for the people. Songs for the old and young. Songs to stir like a battle cry whenever they are sung. Not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men with more abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary, admin life's fever and fret, till the heart shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for the little children, before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged, when shadows dim their sight, of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong to hush the jangled discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of men grow tender and girdle the world with peace.
But all I want to do is marry them on a beach that refuses to take itself too seriously. So much of our lives has been serious. Over time, I've learned that love is most astonishing when it persists, after learning where we come from. When I bring my partner to my childhood home, it is all bullets, needles, and trash bags held at arm's length. It is my estranged father's damp bed of cardboard and cigar boxes filled with gauze and tarnished spoons. It is hard to clean a home, but it is harder to clean the memory of it. When I was young, my father would light lavender candles and shoot up. Now, my partner and I light a fire that will burn all traces of the family that lived here. Black plastic smoke curdles up. Loose bullets discharge in the flames. My partner holds my hand as gunfire rings through the birch trees. Though this is almost beautiful, it is not. And if I'm being honest, my partner and I spend most of our time on Earth feeding one another citrus fruits and enough strength to go on. Every morning I pack them half a grapefruit and some sugar. They tell me it's sweet enough.
I feel you judging me for becoming agoraphobic in someone else's house. I forget how I learned to stroll through grocery stores as though there is no crisis. My elbow cannot touch the middle of my back. My fingers, though, found every part of me. Soon, no migration of wild animals will be unknown to humans. We will chart, film, record, publish, archive everything. It gives us something to do while we annihilate beauty. Poets, shoveling a quarry that is really an ongoing crime scene investigation. A study in vomit imitating vast chronicles of the face. Whatever world we can hold, we will never agree our neglect was worth it. Whatever amount of crazy we can imagine coming at us, double it. I found the perfect listening chair. Nothing but listeners who sit. I'm sitting in it now, listening to my friend the photographer, whose self-portrait I find reflected in eyes for every photo.
Sometimes I long to be the woodpile. Cut apart trees, soon to be smoke, or even the smoke itself. Sinewy ghost of ash and air, going wherever I want to, at least for a while. Neither inside nor out, neither lost nor home. No longer a shape or a name. I'd pass through all the broken windows of the world. It's not a wish for consciousness to end. It's not the appetite an army has for its own emptying heart, but a hunger to stand now and then, alone, on the death grounds where the dogs of the self are feeding.
Listen, you who transformed your anguish into healthy awareness, put your voice where your memory is. You who swallowed the afternoon dust to defend everything you understand with words. You, if no one else, will condemn with your tongue the erosion each disappointment brings. You who saw the images of disgust growing will understand how time devours the destitute. You who gave yourself your own commandments know better than anyone why you turned your back on your town's toughest limits. Don't hush. Don't throw away the most persistent truth as our hard-headed brethren sometimes do. Remember well what your life was like. Cloudiness,
and slick mud after a drizzle, flimsy windows the wind kept rattling in winter, and that unheated slab dwelling where coldness crawled up in your clothes. Tell how you were able to come to this point, to unbar history's doors, to see your early years, your people, the others. Name the way rebellion's calm spirit has served you, and how you came to unlearn the lessons of that teacher, your land's omnipotent defiler.
The night Max wore his wolf suit made him infamous, bred the child star never sent to bed. Middle school, Max started drinking. "Not in my house," his mother begged. "No, no, no, wild thing." Max reminded her who bought this condo, who paid for her meds. Freshman year, Max raved, roared his terrible roar, rolled, and almost wound up in a warehouse dead. Where, oh where do the wild things go? To rehab in high school, to college on residual book sales. Max kept his head down, laughed at drunken frat boys. "Bro, let the wild rumpus start." Max said no thanks and volunteered for the Peace Corps instead. 2 years in Kenya, 1 in Belarus, the president thought Max might be of some use. Max moved to Washington, appointed at the State Department a cultural attaché. One important day, Max wore his wolf gray suit, then drove home well past rush hour in a freak snowstorm. Max drove on the deserted beltway, thought it his throne. "Yes," Max belted. "This is where the wild things roam."
A boat beneath a sunny sky, lingering onward dreamily in an evening of July. Children 3 that nestle near, eager eye and willing ear, pleased a simple tale to hear. Long has paled that sunny sky, echoes fade and memories die. Autumn frosts have slain July. Still she haunts me, phantom-wise, Alice moving under skies, never seen by waking eyes. Children yet the tale to hear, eager eye and willing ear, lovingly shall nestle near. In a wonderland they lie, dreaming as the days go by, dreaming as the summers die, ever drifting down the stream, lingering in the golden gleam. Life, what is it but a dream?
This is not fantasy. This is our life. We are the characters who have invaded the moon, who cannot stop their computers. We are the gods who can unmake the world in 7 days. Both hands are stopped at noon. We are beginning to live forever in lightweight aluminum bodies with numbers stamped on our backs. We dial our words like muzak. We hear each other through water. The genre is dead. Invent something new. Invent a man and a woman, naked in a garden. Invent a child that will save the world. A man who carries his father out of a burning city. Invent a spool of thread that leads a hero to safety. Invent an island on which he abandons the woman who saved his life with no loss asleep over his betrayal. Invent us as we were, before our bodies glittered and we stopped bleeding. Event a shepherd who kills a giant. A girl who grows into a tree. A woman who refuses to turn her back on the past and is changed to salt. A boy who steals his brother's birthright and becomes the head of a nation. Invent real tears, hard love, slow-spoken ancient words, difficult as a child's first steps across a room.